You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Is this thing on? Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Nathan Snell, the Big Nate Sports Talk podcast. This is episode 473 of the podcast. In this episode, we are debriefing this end of the 2025 WNBA season. But before we get to that, there's a few things I want to say up front. I know it's been almost about 2 weeks since you last saw a video. The last video was with Sean Spencer, and we're talking about the Maryland Terrapins football team. Since then, a lot's happened. The Las Vegas Aces, WNBA champions. The Baltimore Ravens are 1-5. The Maryland Terrapins football team 4-2. The Washington Commanders lost last night to the Chicago Bears. I'm going to lose my mind, but no. All seriousness though, but be on the lookout for some recaps and playing catch up. But also, you've also should see on the channel, I posted some content. The Las Vegas Aces today, as I'm recording this, and yesterday, for the first time in a hot minute, have done their exit interviews. So it's on the YouTube channel. Other reporters out of Nikias and others were part of those exit interviews. I was not there today via Zoom, but it's on the YouTube channel if you go check it out. But please continue to subscribe. Thank you for the support I got on the channel. Much appreciated. Again, also thank you for the support you give me on teammbsmedia.com, especially with Maryland, with college football. College basketball is about to start. I'll be covering the Maryland women's basketball team this year for Team MBS Media. So looking forward to that. But in this episode, we're debriefing the end of the season. Also, too, I got a series I'm going to start in about another week or so. So be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend, and a very special, and one of our guests of the Big Nate Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Brenden Potts. Brenden, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Fresh off a very, very fun WNBA season that's come to a close, and now we head into a very very unique off season for sure.
Unique's not the word I'd use, but no, I take it back. This should be I take it back. Yes, but unique is a better word. But again, in this episode, we got a couple of things just to catch up on, because I guess me and Brenden, last episode we did was actually the preview of the playoffs, and the way the season has been with the schedule, and like the way everything kind of went, just everything went by so fast. But Brenden, not this next season, will be covering the Portland Fire. Again, congratulations, sir, because you are in Portland, Oregon. Because for those who don't know, Mr. Potts has covered the Seattle Storm for a couple years now. But covering the Portland Fire, who are back in the WNBA, I think it's going to be really great. Also, to the Toronto Tempo as well next year as well. So the WNBA has 2 new teams. Looking forward to that. But I'm going to give Brenden the floor because he has some news he wanted to talk about regarding the Portland Fire. So, buddy, it's all.
Yeah. So, as Nate said, I'll be covering the Portland Fire through this off season and into next or through this off season and then into their inaugural season in 2026 when when everything clears up in the off season. We'll talk about that later. But there's a couple of dockets of news after kind of a lull through the last month and a half. Fresh off of the news that Vanya Chernievich is the new GM for the Portland Fire. She's coming off a season with the Golden State Valkyries, on which she was a head of basketball operations. So she has been the GM for about a month now, and she has made her first official move as the general manager. She has hired Ashley Battle from the Connecticut Sun, from the Boston Celtics scout team and the G League, the main Celtics. She held a scouting position there, an assistant GM job for the Maine Celtics, and then in the off season she worked as a play-by-play commentator for the Connecticut Sun. So I know she's really respected in that area as well. She has been hired as the director of vice president of basketball operations. Is her official title. She's basically second in command to Vanya, and she will be reporting to her for all the moves when the process of roster construction gets underway. Now, this other docket of news, according to multiple sources, I won't really get into it until it's officially reported by the team. According to multiple sources, the Portland Fire also will be naming a head coach in the coming days. I don't want to say near future because that can mean anything. Alex Samara will be named the head coach of the Portland Fire. Yeah, Alex Sarama. I'm sorry, Sarama. That's gonna be a name I'm gonna have to get used to. But no, in all seriousness, he will be. It's expected that he will be named the Portland Fire head coach in the next coming days. For anyone who's not familiar with him, and including myself, he's another NBA assistant that's making that transition into the W, formerly of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and before that, he spent some time with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then he before that he also spent some time, or he spent a year on the London Lions, who Vanya was the GM for a number of years. Alex was only the GM Alex was only on the Lions for a year, but there's still that familiarity there, which I think will work well when they kind of work, when those two kind of work to establish a vision and a set a culture for the Portland Fire when we get going through this off season. So that news has not been made official yet. It's just been reported by multiple sources of mine. So that is the latest docket of news. An announcement by the team of confirmation of this report should be made shortly. I don't know how long. Could be 24 to 48 hours, I'm guessing. So we will see on that front. But I'm excited to welcome Ashley to Portland. I hear she's she's really respected amongst Nate and I's peers on social media who also cover the sport, whether it's the WNBA in general or the Connecticut Sun. So I've interacted with a couple of them already, and they're really excited for Ashley. And I'm excited for the future of this franchise. And once we officially get a head coach, and the media get to meet him, I will have a clearer idea of what that vision is, and how and their plan going forward. So I'm excited.
Alrighty, thank you, sir. We should know a little bit more, because the way I saw it on social media, a lot of people were, I'll just say, as far as if this is confirmed that this is the head coach, a lot of people are not pleased with it on Twitter, via X now known as Twitter, known as X. My apologies. So we shall see.
Well, let me pretend. Okay, let's pretend for a second. Like, okay, this is official. He's the head coach. This is gonna happen. Let's pretend that Portland made their announcement. It's official. Okay, I'm very, very, very encouraged about this hire for a couple of reasons. Number one, Vanya and Alex are very familiar with each other. That means their communication is going to be on point. They're going to have a clear vision. They're going to have a united front, and they're going to do, because I've met Vanya, and I get an understanding that she wants to bring her success from the Valkyries to the Fire in a non copy and paste way, but do it in a unique to Portland way. So I know that Alex is going to mirror that vision and bring it on the court. So that's number one. Number two, we have seen the NBA assistant to WNBA head coach formula work. We've seen it work many times, most notably with Nate Tibbetts in Phoenix. Now I know that the hate or the disapproval is similar to when Tibbetts was hired, but I think most of the disapproval. I'm sorry. I feel like most of the disapproval for Tibbetts was because he was named as the highest paid head coach in WNBA history right off the bat without coaching a game. Now, 2 years later, we've seen immediate success from him, and what he's done with the Mercury. Also, given the right tools to succeed this season, especially. I don't know what the path is for Portland in terms of immediate or the urgency to go for immediate success like Phoenix, but I know that I know that vision. I know their vision will be clear on what they want to do in their first year or two in playing. We've also seen success with Becky Hammon, obviously, with being in the NBA for nearly a decade. I think nearly a decade with the Spurs, learning under Popovich, and then transitioning into the W. Obviously, it's a different conversation because she's a female and Alex and Nate are males. Obviously, I know that's a different conversation. But if we're basing it on the disapproval of many assistants coming in, and many NBA assistants coming in, and as WNBA head coaches, when there are other qualified head coaches or like qualified WNBA assistants available for head coaching jobs. That's like that's another example of like that works. Like the formula works. So I know I understand the frustration from many fronts, whether it's Portland Fire fans, whether it's WNBA fans in general. But I'm saying like if this indeed is the hire that they are making, if this is indeed the guy that they're bringing in, I'm very 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 encouraged on a couple of fronts.
Okay, point taken. Let's move on next. We're talking about some coaches that were one in particular I was surprised about, but honestly and truthfully, I wasn't surprised about. But the other one, Sandy Brondello of the New York Liberty, she was fired not even a couple days after the exit interview for the Liberty after they lost to the Phoenix Mercury. And Coach CK was fired. I thought they would have Kurt Miller would have given him an opportunity, but I'm just gonna go with you. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, so also got to throw in Seattle with did we talk about Seattle? Because
Noelle Quinn. No, we did not.
Yeah. Also got to talk about Noelle Quinn. Speaking. Okay, let me start with, since I brought it up. Let me just start with Noelle Quinn. This, and it's kind of similar with Sandy Brondello, but
okay, go ahead.
This. Okay. I'll just start with Noelle Quinn. I'm sorry. This was I kind of saw this coming, and coming into the year, I said, if she doesn't make it out of the first round, I said it multiple times. I don't know if I've said it multiple times on here, but I've said it multiple times throughout the season. She has a talented squad. I've talked about the ceiling. They can win a championship. They can have one of the best defenses in the league. Said that all season. If she does not coach this team to make it out of the first round, then she needs to be let go. Like we need to move in a different direction for someone new, for a fresh perspective, for lack of a better phrase, and they did that. Now I will share the similarities are between Noelle Quinn and Sandy Brondello. There's a big difference of what is going on here. Okay. And I'll freshen the perspective. Noelle Quinn, and I think in terms of like technicality, Chris Koclanes was the only one, or Chris Koclanes was the only one who was straight up fired. Noelle Quinn and Sandy Brondello, their contracts were expired after the season. They just were not renewed. There's a big difference.
Cameron, Brenden. No. She was fired. That's firing, Brenden.
Okay. I agree to disagree. I think I understand where you're coming from, but Sandy Brondello. Okay, let's move on to Sandy Brondello.
I think I hit a nerve with Brenden, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just kidding.
I'm curious to see where New York, like the direction that New York goes now, because it's just so funny. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. I feel like it sounds like they were setting her up for failure, because there were reports, I don't know if they were reports or not, but that they were going to fire her last year if they didn't win a championship. But they brought or she brought him a championship. So okay, just we'll keep her another year. And then they don't get a championship this year, and she immediately is like shown the door. And I feel like part of that is she also has another year on her contract, so we'll just keep her that year and see how it goes. And we're not made the enemy if we fall or if we don't meet expectations, which was obviously a championship. That's a way that I look at it with the terminology of like expiring versus firing. But it's just I've seen a couple of names of possible head coaches for the Liberty that I kind of like. But it's just it's so weird how, like, I'm looking around the league and how it's shaping up to be. I don't know if Sandy Brondello is going to get a job next year. Like, I really, even though I think she's qualified, where's she going to go? I don't think she's going to go to Seattle.
I mean, Portland. I mean, not Portland. Toronto could get her an interview. Dallas.
Maybe Toronto. I haven't seen anything on Dallas. Or I'm sorry, I haven't seen anything on Toronto. I haven't seen anything on Dallas either. Well, I take that back. I've seen a couple of things on Dallas, but like it just depends on what direction the teams want to go in, and are they going to favor Sandy? I just don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with Noelle Quinn because I love how Brenden put everything on Noelle. Remind me again, your GM's name is Miss Talisa Ria.
Talisa Ray, yeah.
Talisa Ray. At some point, she needs to be held accountable. Okay, I had that on my notes. Number one, I already knew Noelle more than likely was going to be done early after last year. Let's just keep it real. The never getting past the second round of the playoffs under Noelle. Because second and first round exits are for her last 2 years. But let's just keep it real. You've gone through Vegas, okay? I think let's just keep it real. For me, building culture matters. And I think we had multiple chefs in the kitchen, and there wasn't one, and everybody wanted to be the lead chef. That creates conflict. That creates issues. Hence, that's why when Jules said what she said in the post presser after they won the finals, it kind of makes sense, honestly, because that lets me know that there was some issues in that locker room. And then also too, like, I don't understand if Noelle's fired, if her contract was not extended after this year, then how come Miss Reyes is still there? Because who put this team together?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the frustration of how the regular season ended, or how the team looked. But I got to the point where I was watching this Storm team, and I said, if they don't make it out of the first round, not only am I letting go of Noelle Quinn, but I'm cleaning house. Like everybody's got to go. So I'm not entirely surprised to see Talisa still there. We got to keep in mind that that this is her first time looking for a head coach, because Dan Quinn retired and immediately the new head coach was the Noelle Quinn was picked in as the new head coach. Back when she was named the new head coach, Elisa Valvanis was the general manager, and Talisa was the assistant. And since then, obviously, things have changed. This is Talisa's first time searching for a head coach, which I think it does put pressure on her, but it's going to be interesting the change of direction that she goes, and how it appeals to free agents. Honestly, like there were other factors. I've talked about this before. There were other factors, but Noelle Quinn was a really big factor in Nneka Ogwumike and Skylar Diggins coming to play for Seattle. They really they love playing for Noelle Quinn.
Yeah, I understand.
And she was the only African American coach in the African American woman in the WNBA head coaching circle. That was when she was with the Storm, and that appealed to many players, including Nneka and Skylar. So, although there were other factors that led them to come to play for the Storm, that's huge. So you need to obviously make a decision based off of who's the best leader on the court, or like how can they best lead the team on the court, but also like do players of star caliber, of all-star caliber, like Skylar and Nneka, do they want to play for a head coach like whoever you choose? Right. And that's a big factor in this decision. Do they appeal to free agents? And I feel like a lot of players on the team really respected Noelle Quinn. I feel like a lot of players on this current team did. Now there are some players who I won't name, who have expressed their.
This is a safe space, Brenden.
Lexi Brown, Tiffany Mitchell, who have expressed their disheartening of the way that this season went for them in terms of playing time. But
yep.
That, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but they're they're bench players. Like they're coming off the bench. They're coming off the bench anyways, and I really want to.
But you could have found. She could have found some opportunities for them. I mean, when healthy, in give it in fairness to Lexi, I'll even go in LA. She is a scorer that is someone who can score the ball. She can guard from the guard. She can even guard the three. Tiffany Mitchell, I think, is somebody that I think is a slasher. I think a good defender. I just think for me, a lot of it is, what were those conversations like? Because remember, Lexi was traded, to Seattle. So I don't know what those conversations with Noelle were. So, but I think she could have got more of an opportunity. But
it's not like she had DMPs the whole season. Like I swear I was probably the one who asked Noelle Quinn questions about her the most, because she played extensive minutes, especially down the stretch of the regular season, especially against the Valkyries. So, and I asked Noelle Quinn about that after one of the games, after the Kids Day game, and and she said she used her strategically. So I know like there's something like I know it's just not all DMP. It's not all DMPs the entire season. It's not like that. But um, that's why I was gonna say I'm curious to see where her or how Lexi how Lexi and Tiffany are used when they do have a new head coach, whether it's in Seattle or elsewhere. By the way, on that note, Lexi Brown is still under contract with the Storm, so
Yes.
she will have if she's not chosen in the expansion draft, which I think she's an interesting candidate. Um, she will indeed have a new head coach in Seattle.
Yeah. You make all valid points. I just, for me, I'm just not giving front office a pass because, she's been there since 2019. She lets Stewie walk. And this is what I'm sorry, front office it plays a vital role in building a team. This is what you've put on, you've given Noelle. Noelle's not perfect. Noelle was given, she had a team. And I just think kind of, okay, like, what is this going to look like in 2026? Don't know. But I'll end it on that. With
They're gonna have Dominic Malunga. That's a great start.
Yeah, but but realistically, I just the way that
Jordan Horston
and then Nico Mule, but I mean, but some of the conversations I heard at the time when she was fired, the window with Dominique is very short, and you got to do this now, and I'm like, no, that's not true, because you got to build it the right way, like you can't rush. First of all, we don't know where the front office is going to go. If it's going to be a reset, a rebuild, we don't know that. So we got to wait and see how this offseason looks. Like Brenden, you said it. This Neka want to stay, Skylar want to stay, Erica Wheeler. Like pieces that got them there. So it's interesting to see on that. With Sandy. All right. Sandy is a good coach. But also watching her on the Olympic level as a coach, I can see why she gets the criticism that she gets, especially this year. She really had an opportunity to use her bench more, and she didn't. And that's not to say to be disingenuous. That's not to sit there and say, I just think that when the way Jonathan said that, that tells me that this season was her proving year, because they really were looking at 2023 as the team to win the championship. And then when that failed last year, was really it. This was just borrowed time. So, but in fairness, she dealt with the injuries, and I get it. But trying to repeat, but also too, again, Emma Mieseman wasn't going to help. Niara Sadley, I think is a great. I think she still could bring something to the team, but has dealt with injuries. You signed Isabel Harrison. You didn't really, but Nicely Hamilton was out. Who was your Kayla Thornton coming off the bench? You didn't have your key pieces that got you the championship from last year. So I get it where Sandy could have really been better with trying to understand her rotations better. But and also too, like, I'm not sure this was also a power play, because I know Sabrina's a free agent going into next year. But also too, I ain't gonna lie, like if what I saw where my players are throwing where my stars are throwing temper tantrums on the floor, that lets me know that you lost the locker room too, because we can't be doing that. And in fairness, I mean, I'll talk about more of that in the upcoming series, but I do think she did lose the locker room to an extent. So, but as far as Coach CK with Dallas, again, Dallas was just a mess. Again, there's context to that. When Kurt Miller came into that thing, I think Coach Trammell got scapegoated. It wasn't her fault. God bless her. She dealt with injuries that hurt that year after they got to the semifinals. But Greg Bibb's fingerprints are somewhat still on this team.
Yeah, they are.
Whether people want to admit that or not, they let go of Terry McCowan during this. They let her go. Arike got hurt. So really, this you're really trying to take everything that was under the previous regime and restart it all over again. Now, was Chris the right decision? No. But I do also, there were my understanding when they got Dejanay, there was some, I will just say, I'm going to put it this way. People who feel like, okay, you have the money, but you're not happy, but you're there, and you think you can just run over people that you can run things. Yeah, that's not going to fly on other teams. I'll just leave it at that. But I just really think with Dallas, I think it's a fresh start. But really justice for Coach Trammell for sure, because she should not have been fired because, yeah, that was a mess. Let's transition off of that. Some of the WNBA Awards, shall we?
Something more positive.
Paige Beckers was Rookie of the Year. Congratulations to Paige, no doubt about that. I knew she was going to be Paige's Rookie of the Year when she dropped, was it 44 on the Sparks and got everybody DoorDash. That's how she was Rookie of the Year. So, do you want to add anything onto that?
Nah. Hey, shout out to Sonia Citron for getting 2 votes.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, Paige is the Rookie of the Year, no question about it. Mm-hmm. But so the job that Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriaven did this year, really and Dominic Malunga to as the last stretch of the year. We'll talk about them, I'm sure, but also Layla Lacan, Sanaya Rivers. I would say Seattle. Obviously, we talked about Seattle, but if you're Nate, you're covering the Mystics, and if you're also a Connecticut Sun fan, you got to be really happy with your future right now, man. Because Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriaven, those are 2 pieces that you you have solidified, and they're going to be special players that you have for your future. And on Connecticut side, you got possibly the best defensive front court in terms of rookies with Sanaya Rivers and Layla Lacan. Those 2 are going to be special as well. So those are 2 huge building pieces for Connecticut that you get to build around. So that gives you somewhat of a future. You gotta be really happy with what you got there. But yeah, no doubt in my mind. Paige Becker is Rookie of the Year. She came in, she was herself, and I loved obviously her game on the court, but I did a story on her earlier this or mid-season, I'd say mid-July, on her unselfishness. I think she's the most unselfish player in the league, and I don't think it's even close. Mm-hmm. And it was so awesome to talk about all the work that she's done off the court and how that translates to on the court, and get her teammates' perspectives as well. And even though he's not there, I got Coach's perspective as well. So I really loved doing that piece, and I really loved talking to Paige and everybody else that I did. So I did love talking about that side of her, but no doubt in anyone's mind that Paige Beckers was the Rookie of the Year.
Yep. I did want to really quick before we transition. with the whole Sonya thing, I mentioned this before, and I'm gonna say it again. We could praise other players because when the Mystics were playing well, there were some people that were on the bandwagon. So I kind of find it funny. Yes, I get it. Paige, box office, 100%. No argument with that. But the fact that we can't give other players praise and say, hey, you know what? Kiki Arifin, you broke a single rookie record within almost 2 months of your WNBA career. Sonya, you transitioned well. Like we could acknowledge that. And it's just almost it's kind of like, oh, well, like who cares? So, but I just felt like we're like from the like, why are we this conference of Sonya Citrone Rookie of the Year conversation? No, it's more of can we praise other rookies in the league too, not just Sonya, Anissa, Sanaya, and the list goes on. You know what I'm saying? Like that really pissed me off.
I did forget about Anissa. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
But also, like you got on Washington's side, you got
Dominique too.
Amore. Yeah, and Dominique, I think Dominique, like she came into her own a little too late, but that's not her fault. We went over that. It's whatever. But the sample size that we got from her was fantastic. But also with Washington, you get Georgia Amore back next season, which she looks fantastic in getting back to on the court stuff. So that should be a really exciting trio of rookies that you got going on next year.
We shall see. Lee Edwards should still be here, but that's okay. The next, really the all rookie team, which was no brainer. They had Paige Becker, Sonya Citrone, Kiki Arifin, Dominique Malonga, and Janae Saloon. Which I don't understand why we just have one all WNBA rookie team, but that's okay. I wish they had two. I had really quick because I had put my. Oh no, sorry, I just did it on. But when I did when I did the episode, Brenden, you were on there. I had similar to this almost, so I think I had it right. For all rookie. As far as the all first and second teams, I got that right. Fee, Asia Wilson, AT, Alicia Gray, Kelsey Mitchell, all WNBA second team, NECA, Jackie Young, Sabrina, Leah Boston, Paige. My second was Jackie, Skylar, Aaliyah Boston, Brianna Jones, NECA, Gumake. And apparently I was getting flack on Twitter for not putting Paige for all second WNBA team, but it's my list. We could agree to disagree. And also too, I had an all third. I'm just because I feel like the WNBA should have an all third team, in my opinion. I had Satu in there. I have Veronica Burton, Dearica Hamby, and I put Stewie in there as well. So.
Can that be a discussion point on adding a third all WNBA team in the new CBA? I'm curious.
I be nice, but I doubt it will happen.
Okay, I was just curious.
All defensive teams. Let me see. Let's make sure I had that one.
Shout out to Fee for delaying that, by the way.
Yeah, big one. Really quick because I didn't get that one. It was okay. First all team. It was Fee, Alana Smith, Asia, Gabby, Asia Wilson. Second team, Aaliyah Boston, Veronica Burton, Esli Magnabagor, Ryan Howard, and Stewie. For my all defensive team, I had AT, Ryan Howard, Asia Wilson, Fee, Alana Smith. And then my all second defensive team, I had Angel Reese, Lexi Hall, Gabby Williams, Brianna Jones, and NECA Gumake. So I wasn't even close on. Well, I got 1, 2, 1, 2. I got yeah. Broad defensive 1, 2. I got 5. 5 out of 10.
There you go.
That's not bad.
I'm very, very, very scared to ask this, but what do you think about the WNBA's decision to do co-defensive player of the year?
I didn't like that because if that was the case, Alana Smith should have won last year. Because they did not, because Minnesota's PR team did not even promote Alana to be defensive player of the year. All year it was promoting Fee for MVP. I didn't see one post of Alana being defensive player of the year. Because if you look statistically, last year she should have won defensive player of the year. That's just my opinion.
I can see that.
But I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, it's a regular season award, but I mean,
Yeah.
defensive player of the year. I mean, where was that in the playoffs? But
Right.
Let's not. I can't put all that on her shoulders. But
Yeah.
But that's okay. MVP. Most people should know by now, but A'ja Wilson was given her third MVP. No, sorry, this is her fourth MVP.
Yeah,
this is her second in a row. My apologies. I'm thinking of the WNBA championship. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So this is our second in a row. She breaking a tie with the great Cheryl Swoops and Leslie Lauren Jackson. The AT, I already knew we're going to be basically the top 3, and then Alicia Gray, Kelsey Mitchell.
It's basically all WNBA first team.
What was really interesting when you looked at those votes, Rakia Jackson got a 5th place vote. Brian Howard, Veronica Burton, all got 5th place votes. So
shout out to NECA for getting a 4th place vote.
That too. Let's just be candid for a second. Let me just be honest. So for me, first of all, I'm happy for A'ja. I think she had a great year, and I think it was well deserved. How I look at MVP, because I've seen this on the NFL side, it's not really done on baseball for Major League Baseball. On the NBA side, it's a little I don't really pay attention to it, but for the NFL and particularly WNBA, the conversations between MVP I've noticed get manipulated. That's the best word I could say. MVP to me is how you're more valued to your team. And also sometimes it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So if you look at those teams, I'm going to take Phoenix, Minnesota, and Vegas. Okay. Vegas started off poorly. A'ja, if I remember correctly, led in 4 of the 5 major categories.
Yeah.
A'ja statistically did not have a bad start. The team around her did. AT is more valuable to Phoenix because the system is built for her style of play. Fee, in my opinion, benefits from she's played to me is in a system that benefits her style of play, but also too, like, one game Courtney Williams should get hers, Alana Smith can get hers, Natisha Heidemann. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fee, like, I'm not saying it's not a valuable player, but doesn't have the value that A'ja and Alyssa have to their teams. Really, honestly, and truthfully being honest, Kelsey, Mitchell, and Alicia Gray do. And that's no shade to Fee. To me, I just thought it was disingenuous about this whole MVP conversation, was especially after the month of May, when Minnesota went off 10-0, won 10 straight games, we all of a sudden decided to cut off the MVP conversation. I thought that was disingenuous. And then we wrote off everybody else. Well, Vegas, yeah, they weren't looking great, and rightfully so, they weren't looking great. But then Fee gets hurt. That's a decision Cheryl Reeves has to live with. She made the choice of keeping her out there, which she should not have. Okay. But they still won 7 games, if I remember correctly, without Fee. So, okay. So that tells me that it's more of a system than the player. So that means it's the team that still found ways to win without her. Okay. Asia was out 6 games, I would think it was this year, because they didn't do the injury. I think AT had missed some games. But you can see their values for each of the teams were similarly different. If you're following my point. But then you see, especially after that 53-point loss, as using with Vegas, that's their season turnaround for the Aces. Alyssa Thomas's triple doubles, especially with respect to her own single season record, which is insane. To me, those have value because you see, because even especially with Phoenix, you didn't really have consistently Kai out there, nor Satu. They were also dealing with other bench places like Kalani Brown was at one point in the early season getting big minutes. And then she got the flu, if I remember correctly. And Nate Tibbetts, that's criminal what he did to her, especially not playing her in the finals the way he should have. In my opinion. But their value as players for both the teams as the season progressed. But I just think for me to see why I personally believe why Asia deserved to win MVP was to take your team from damn near out the playoffs to being the number 2, to be finishing there behind Minnesota. And like that to me what defines MVP, because it's the most valuable player, not most valuable team. And Alyssa Thomas, again, it's not taking anything away from her. I think she, on a great day and any day where I think deserves, could win MVP. But sometimes we have to take a step back and go, okay, when we look at the triple doubles, how did that help the team in a sense? Because again, you didn't have Satu nor Kai out there consistently. You had Katie Westfeld, Malik Akaya Kanoa. You had it. The values in terms of MVP just to me were a little different. So I apologize if I'm going on a tangent, but I'm just going to wrap it up and I'm going to give you the floor on this. But I saw this video. I don't know where it was, but when you're seeing people saying the reason why I voted for Fee was because simply Asia didn't have the year that she had where she scored 1,000 points last year. I think she was like 70-something points from 1,000, and basically holding her to that standard, which that's fine because Fee had a 50-40-90 season. That is a hard thing to achieve, ladies and gentlemen, because Elena Delle Donne did that and got an MVP. But if that's the case, then you have to hold Nafisa to that same standard where it has to be better than what she was this year. So what am I saying? 60, 50, 100. She has to be better than what she was this year. Because you can't change the criteria for everybody. You want to do that for one player, you got to do it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then lastly, this is my last point, Brenden, let me give you the floor. I saw this video on YouTube. I can't remember where I saw it. But this notion that, hoping that with Asia getting this MVP, it quiets the noise and all this other stuff, I think that is disingenuous. It's not about quieting noise. We know that the media, particularly in WNBA, has biases, okay? And it doesn't give players the respect that it deserves. When we're like a great example, I'm looking at it right here, right now. Brenden can agree with me. We're having a conversation of who is the greatest of all time between Asia, Maya Moore, and all this other stuff. They all in different generations. Like they all have impacted the game. But again, like you said, I'm saying, I feel like we shouldn't have to diminish one to uplift one. We can give players respect. And again, we all know it goes back to when Asia was at college. We know it's nothing new, but I feel like as aspiring journalists, we can continue to call out the hypocrisy in the media and hold those accountable that do show that continue to hold their biases towards not just Asia, but other players in the league. So I'm leaving on that. On that note, go ahead, Brenden.
Yeah. So personally, if I had a vote, which I don't, I want to make that perfectly clear. On the awards, I would have chosen Fee simply because of the season that she had for the success of Minnesota, kind of what Nate spoke on. I also would have highly considered Alyssa Thomas because of the season that she had, nearly averaging a triple double. And I actually put out a story on the season that she had, and how truly great her season was. But I'm gonna give a couple of examples to basically sum up what I am gonna say. So Christina Williams does a podcast. I don't know how often during the week she does a podcast. But I believe that there was a quote that she had a guest on. I can't remember who it was. But there was a quote in that podcast episode that stood out to me. It's a shame that Nafisa and Alyssa are playing in the same era as Asia, because in a quote unquote, I'm saying this without, or I say this without a better, for lack of a better term, for a quote unquote, or in a quote unquote perfect world, they're winning MVP with the season that they had, with each of them, with the season that they had, if they were not in the same era as Asia Wilson, because Asia Wilson is just that girl. Like she like the season that the way that she was able to pick up from a 14-14 season, a historic loss to the Minnesota Lynx. She came out and she said, "Okay, enough's enough," and she turned up the heat, which led to an 18-game winning streak, and she put up historic numbers during that streak. Now, I've been very vocal on Asia not being the only one who contributed to that 18-game winning streak. There were other factors that led to that hot finish to the season, but Asia was a big part of that. I'm not denying that in any way, and people think that I am, and I'm not. She was a big part, but there's a difference between being the single reason why, being the singular reason why, versus being a major part. And Asia was a major part of why they finished so hot during the end of the season, which obviously, validates her as the MVP. Now, one of the media voters this season who has earned her stripes in the NBA side of covering basketball, but also has now earned her stripes covering the WNBA, and who I really respect as a journalist and covering the media, or covering the game of basketball, is Noelle Quinn. She's done a fantastic job covering the Celtics, but we knew that already. But she's transitioned that knowledge. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I'm sorry. Was she on that Celtics coaches versus the media basketball thing?
Yeah, she was. She said, "Don't even criticize my shot motion because it goes in." I just watched that video before, or I just watched that whole slide before we went on. That was hilarious. But on a more serious note, she started a podcast for WNBA fans to talk about different things. I talk about to talk about different things. And one of the first videos, I would say it's probably her most viewed video right now, is this day. I think it's literally called "Why I Chose Asia Wilson for MVP," and she went like many people are gonna say, or many people, whether it's media members or whatever, especially fans, they're gonna say, "Oh, because Asia Wilson's this, and this." No, Noah, instead, she took the or she described the process of what it of looking at the in this case 3 candidates and dwindling it down to 2, and then ultimately the deciding factor of why she chose Asia. And I think if there's any debate on, or if there's anyone still debating on why Nafisa didn't win MVP over Asia, I think you should really watch that video and see the perspective that at least one journalist in Noah and why she chose Asia, and it's really amazing to be able to hear the different reasons why she chose Asia, and while she gives credit to everybody, because yeah, everybody had historical years, and nobody's discounting that, but those were the only two things that I wanted to point out in my summary of the MVP conversation.
I agree with that. And again, and listen, and I want to also to emphasize this: all 3 play, and then same thing with last year, Asia, Fee, especially those 2. I'll put AT in there as well. And really, from last year, we talked about how AT and Fee, and then there was everybody else, and then especially now this year, Alicia Gray, Kelsey Mitchell, in the years that they had, and especially with Alyssa going from Connecticut to Phoenix, everybody had a great year. I just think for me, it just, what bothers me is the discourse when it comes to MVP and the conversations, because I've seen on the NFL side, and it just was interesting, like how, okay, we're basic, like just we're going to be transparent. Okay, that's fine. But I did have a question for you. How would you feel if the WNBA added an Offensive Player of the Year and had for an award?
Like for football, you mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's just a scapegoat for not being able to decide on MVP," like that kind of thing. So, I think I don't really think that's a good idea in that aspect. But I mean, Kathy's already got a lot of hate pointed towards her. So,
yes. Which actually, thank you, Mr. Potts. That transitions into our next point. We're going to take a little break because we have spoken. We have been quite winded for almost now at an hour. So we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back.